Earlier in 2020, the Cubed3 team compiled their top Nintendo Switch games, and now I am here to vocalize that list. If you want to see the full rundown, watch the rest of this video, or go to cubed3.com and read everybody's contributions. I'd like to thank all of the Cubed3 members that helped make this video happen. Let's take it away. Bayonetta 1 and 2 are defining action games of their respective generations, and each time it's ported it feels slicker and more refined. This Switch collection repackages them with amazing portable port work, allowing 360-degree shooting, hair demon summoning action on the bus, train and at work. Well, maybe work isn't the best place given the explicit nature of both games, but damn, these are amazing stories and absolutely engrossing, immersive action. Heartily recommended. At 24, Stardew Valley has pretty much sat somewhere near the top of the eShop charts since its official release in 2017. Seldom has it moved from that position, quite notable for a non-Nintendo game on a Nintendo system, whereby Nintendo games usually dominate. Delve into its busy, simulated world, and it's easy to see why. Started as a passion project made by one man, Eric Barone, this has over the years evolved into a nuanced and varied farming life sim, filling a space much sought by gamers after the confusing fracture of the Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon titles. Stardew Valley manages to take many of their mechanics and improve on them in many neat little ways. Whether the desire is to get a full working sprinkler system at the farm, winning a fishing tournament, fixing up the community centre, or chatting up the local townsfolk and gifting them used tyres. Any of these choices will result in a sticky gameplay loop that is difficult to put down, and on the Switch, the only thing stopping you will be when the battery needs to recharge. Real life responsibilities notwithstanding. There is one thing that's really bad about this game, however. It's too addictive. One of the welcome side effects of the Switch's runaway success is an abundance of strategies on the platform. Tentpole features such as being able to continue to play on the go, as well as in some cases touchscreen input, are a marriage made in heaven and totally fitting of the genre. What other marriages could it be said are made to be in heaven? Surprisingly, that of the titular Ubisoft bunnies and Marioverse in this strategy-light, with guns, future classic. It's a crossover that seemed inconceivable when it was initially rumoured and subsequently announced. It even sounds rather confusing still today in 2020. All that aside, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is without a doubt a must-play on the platform. Number 22's entry, Skyrim, is an undying game that Bethesda is happy to keep rolling back out year after year, platform after platform, and yet despite the tiresome nature of its rehashing, it's nigh impossible to stop buying it. Something about the carefully built world with its magnificent snowy peaks and the nature of Skyrim's choose-your-own-adventure keeps pulling everyone back, a truly generation-spanning adventure that is still fun to this day. Super Mario Maker 2 is not only just more 2D Mario, it's also limitless Mario. In theory, with its inventive creation suite and user-made levels, the possibilities are seemingly infinite. For anyone who doesn't want to make their own levels, a robust single-player mode exists, but that would only be scratching the surface of what's possible. The main draw here is being how the basic tried and tested Mario Bros. Formula can be stretched and remixed into something completely fresh. Maybe this is just a nostalgia speaking, but 2D Mario has never felt more relevant for both old-timers and newcomers alike. The genius in Pokémon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu is the ease of playstyle mixed in with some new features that have not only made life easier, but have become staples ever since. You can now lazily sit on the sofa, flicking the smallest of wrists, catch them all, waggle that thumb to move around the world and actually see which Pokémon are in the surrounding area, cutting out hours of grinding. The Pokémon Company have ranked up the feel-good factor by only including the original 151 Pokémon, and leaving out some of the later, at best, questionable design choices. This is the perfect pick up and play option for those who were there from the start but are too restricted by life interfering to invest in a full new iteration. Not the obvious choice for rupee collecting, chicken throwing goodness on the Switch, but possibly the best fit for a portable console. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening was made to be picked up for a quick half an hour in comparison to the sprawling landscapes and world exploration of its big brother. In full nostalgia, muscle memory mode, a dungeon can be completed in less time than it takes to scale a mountain or two. The claymation style visuals give a childlike wonder to the proceedings and invite you into playing make-believe, and in a world that is cutesy, yet dangerous. Bashing blocks with a hammer to collect ore for crafting nicer blocks is a great stress therapy in Dragon Quest Builders 2. Building rooms for residents and helping fulfill quests in an attempt to keep their demanding selves happy can be a challenge in itself. The real experience begins after the main story, when it's easy to let the imagination create all kinds of fabulous buildings. Astral Chain is full of Platinum Games' signature, intrigue and style, with a unique cyberpunk setting that feels like the gamification of Ghost in a Shell and Psychopaths. The unique combat lets the players control two characters in sync, accentuates an epic story about other worlds and solving the mystery of Astral Plane. Anyone would have an absolute ripping time with its fantastically styled adventure. The Fire Emblem series has gone from stride to stride since the release of Fire Emblem Awakening. The revival of the series has been a huge turnaround, so much so that Nintendo themselves strongly hold it in high regard. Fire Emblem Three Houses continues that success greatly with 3 differing paths, each containing a unique twist on a stereotypical story. Three Houses changes the formula greatly by introducing a free roaming section by exploring the base site known as the Garagmak Monastery, where the story revolves around. The additional divergence is what sets Three Houses apart from the previous Fire Emblem titles by adding in tasks such as fishing, gardening, cooking and fetch quests to help bolster relationships with characters. Though these tasks aren't brand new to the series, the execution of them in Three Houses brings a new, fresh approach that fans have adored. It's Tetris, but not as you know it. Combined with one of the major current trends in gaming of late, Battle Royale, Tetris makes the masterpiece puzzle game even more addictive by taking on 98 other players from around the world to be the last one standing. In true Tetris fashion, game speed gets progressively faster to the point where only the best will survive. Like the original game, Tetris 99 is simple in concept, yet so hard to put down. Hidden in the depths of the Nintendo store is this gem of a title. Taxi drivers never seem to have the most interesting of lives from a passenger point of view, but somehow this has become one of the best titles on the Nintendo Switch. Simply in its delivery as well as gameplay, after a short playthrough, the narrative sucks a player in so much that they become fully invested in the life of Lena, an emotionally stunted night worker looking for her best friend, as well as a new life. Every night becomes a joy, through the cyberpunk dystopia, hoping to meet a familiar face and recap on whatever trials and tribulations they've gone through since the last trip. As the old saying goes, it's not the destination, it's the journey. Every now and then, a day or two is spent completely reorganising the farm, and it's played mostly during the regular events for the Cubed3's, including clothes and house items. The continuously updated goals provide constant variety to farming, and they can be ignored but are fun to work towards. Be it harvesting hundreds of cabbages or waiting hours for specific types of horses to harvest, Farm Together is definitely a game worth playing. Sonic the Hedgehog is very much back in the vernacular in 2020, thanks to the success of the feature film with the same name. And this popularity will hopefully see a fantastic sequel, 2017's Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania itself is treated as a love letter to the blue blur of the past, subtly remixing stages from 5 Sonic games, Sonic 1 through to Sonic & Knuckles, while also adding its own flair and creativity. Watch the original trio of Sonic, Tails and Knuckles rip through Green Hill Zone once again, or play as one of the 2 returning characters, Mighty and Ray. Anyone looking for a good 90s nostalgia trip, then Sonic Mania will ensure a wild ride. Intuitive controls is a phrase thrown around far too often, and with Shovel Knight Treasure Trove defining it, it should never be used again. Controls should not be a sole reason for a purchase, but even without the fantastic level design, replayability, and boss battles, it would be. The knight in question bounces effortlessly from platform to platform without a hint of input delay, and elevates a NES-style tribute into an unmissable platformer. With fantastic boss battles and character design also thrown in, this is a night to remember. Fall in love with the blue-haired Dana, the protagonist of Eve's 8, Lacrimosa and Odana, whose bittersweet struggles capture your heart. It takes over half the game to have her as a playable team member, but the mystery and danger that follows Adol and the other shipwreck survivors on an island with dinosaur-like monsters, plus an unknown murder, make the first half of this title fly by. Dana features early on in the form of dreams and memories which Adol experiences, They influence his decisions, and Darna's strange powers help the group on their adventure. Although Luigi's Mansion 3 may not be at the top of everyone's list, it certainly is at the top of yours truly. Surely, the Switch has no shortage of awesome titles, with great gameplay, great story, great art, great audio, and so on, but this one packs everything so tightly and is also perfectly paced. Yes, it's not super long, but someone who is actually quite busy can appreciate that, and as it gets your full attention right from the start, and manages to keep it up to the maximum level all the way through before it gets any chance of feeling stale. The production values of this game are through the roof, as it looks like a full-blown animated film and has the charm to back up the look too. You typically don't get great games on the Switch looking this good and still running flawlessly. But Luigi's Mansion 3 pulls it off with no immediately noticeable sacrifices. It's no exaggeration to say that this is arguably the best looking Switch exclusive title. If you're a fan of the Metroidvania subgenre, then get Hollow Knight now. It's got so much praise, including from the team here at Cubed3, for being so good that you've just got to try it. Its enormous success also led to a physical release, for those who prefer those over digital. It doesn't matter what you choose though, because this is awesome. It's had its frustrating moments, filled with repeated deaths on the same seemingly impossible bosses, but the tough challenge offered here is mostly a fair one, and the great storytelling, atmosphere, visual design, audio direction, and so on all contributed to making many gamers stick with it until the very end. Hollow Knight is a masterpiece of 2D gaming, and it's safe to say that Silksong will be no different when it eventually gets released. A top example of how to make a cracking 2D platformer with great controls, cute graphics, and a relatable little story to break up gameplay. Celeste might be known for its difficult platforming segments, but a lot of that comes from having the reflexes to deal with what's ahead. When everything comes together, with main character Madeline jumping and dashing from platform to platform, this is some of the most satisfyingly flowing side-scrolling out there. And if things do get too tough, there are assist tools available for players at any time to help them through, allowing anyone to bypass a section causing them trouble, or even climb safely through the rest of the game to appreciate the full story. Having this kind of choice is wonderful, and it takes nothing away from what a fine platformer Celeste really is. Incredibly, Starlink Battle for Atlus has landed in 6th place, and it is well deserved. The Nintendo Switch version is by and large the best version of Starlink, maybe not from a performance standpoint, but due to the inclusion of Nintendo's very own Star Fox crew making an appearance throughout the story. This is no cameo either, Fox and his pals are there for the entire thing. Even better yet, the DLC offers a new Star Wolf side quest. Starlink let itself down by having a Toys to Life model, leading it to be prohibitively expensive. However, as time has gone on, the deluxe all-digital edition is often on sale on the eShop, which throws in the necessary tools that players need to get the full experience of exploring the Atlus system. Starlink Battle for Atlus focuses on exploring planets for their fauna and flora, while trying to liberate the local planets from being reigned by the evil Legion. To help fight against the Legion are a number of protagonists, each with their own unique ships, weapons and mods that can be fully tailored, opening up a plethora of customizable options. If Starlink Battle for Atlus seemed too pricey when it initially launched, then now might be a great time to keep an eye out for an Ubisoft sale, as the complete package offers hours and hours of great content. It is perhaps no surprise that Dragon Quest XI-S, Echoes of an Elusive Age, is a firm favourite. The charming character brings about a smile, including breaking pots for items and trampling over barrels and baskets. Every monster looks cute and has a fun name. Every NPC has a story to tell, with towns being rich in culture. Despite its emotional story, it oozes charm and is one of the best JRPGs on the market. Placing a roster of iconic Nintendo characters behind the wheels of kart races ensures a very frenzied and delightful racing experience. With a plethora of silly power-ups used to design to hinder other racers on the tracks, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the most refined title in the series. The animations are a joy to watch, the car handling is a top-notch level, and there's nothing better than seeing the heartbreak of first place getting nailed with that dreaded blue shell just as they near the finish line. It's a timeless classic. The Mario Kart series is probably the most appealing and accessible video game known on this planet. It's colourful, charming, and most importantly fun. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe specifically wins the crown, as it ticks all of these attributes and more. No Nintendo Switch collection is complete unless they own a copy of this gem of a racer, and it fully deserves the eclectic praise it has received over the years. One of the biggest love letters to gaming, it's hard to imagine any future Smash installment reaching these heights ever again. This hectic party fighting game is more than Nintendo at this point, and it's proof that even the seemingly impossible is possible if developers and fans want it badly enough. The fact that every past character, third party or not, returned is praise in itself, but who could have ever predicted that Banjo and Kazooie squeezing in there? There are tens, if not hundreds of hours of entertainment here, especially if players embrace the competitive side and take fights online once done with the extensive adventure mode and its great twists on how battles are fought. Plenty to unlock and plenty for game fans of all backgrounds and playing history to appreciate and enjoy. Super Mario Odyssey is the personification of the term labour of love. Not a single second of this game doesn't exude the feeling of discovery and exploration. Harking back to the full fat Mario 3D experience, it offers players a simple plot that pushes the player forward without feeling contrived or like too much of a retread of Mario's other adventures. It's a joyous title to play, and everyone who owns a Switch should give it a go. A huge shift in the structure of a Legend of Zelda game resulted in one of the best games of recent years. A devastated Hyrule having suffered destruction at the hands of Ganon is your playground in this free-roaming adventure. The vast majority of the land is able to be explored at any time, with every few meters having some point of interest, whether it is the remains of a once-standing building, a Korok waiting to be found, an enemy hideout to be pillaged, or an ancient shrine to be discovered with its puzzle inside needing to be overcome for its reward. This sense of discovery is immense, with various terrains and weather conditions encompassing each corner of Hyrule, and costumes and recipes requiring experimenting with in order to survive. The attention to detail is not just the visual identity, but also in the physics, and therefore the possibilities in regards to combat and land traversal are something entirely different. To this day, new discoveries are being made in what this game is truly capable of, which speaks volumes about the sort of marvel Nintendo has crafted here. Even if you only play through this once, it will be a memorable and entertaining experience like few others. The mechanics within Breath of the Wild and small intricacies that Nintendo were working on for years have absolutely paid off, as this is not only the best game on the Nintendo Switch, but probably the best game Nintendo has ever developed. Now that's not all there is available on the Switch, and we know this for a fact. Now there are games like Animal Crossing New Horizons, Pokémon Sword and Shield, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, Pikmin 3, and so many more other Nintendo Switch games that haven't yet been ranked by our team. But join us next year in 2021 so you can see if these games do in fact make this top list of Nintendo Switch games. But for now, that's the list that we have. So, if you think there should be a game added to the list, let us know in the comments below. If not, hang on till next year and you can see your beloved game added. Take care guys, thank you very much for watching and listening.